Hi everyone. In this video, I want to try to clarify when we use parentheses in the formulas for ionic compounds. So they want us to write formulas for the compounds that form when all of these ions combine. So first we have sodium, and then OH is hydroxide. This is a polyatomic, and that reminds me of something. You only use parentheses for polyatomics, but not all of the time. So here we have sodium with a +1 charge and hydroxide with a -1 charge. So in order to have a compound whose charge is neutral overall, I would simply have sodium hydroxide. That is the correct answer. If you wrote sodium with hydroxide in parentheses, I would mark it wrong. And again, just to make sure that we have an overall neutral charge for this compound, the sodium ion gives us a +1, the hydroxide ion gives us a -1. That is a 0 charge overall. Let's try this one. We're combining potassium and iodate. Again, this is very similar to the previous one. Potassium has a +1, iodate has a -1. If I have one of each, KiO3, potassium iodate, I'm going to have a compound with an overall neutral charge. Again, if I wrote K with IO3 in parentheses, I would mark that wrong. And just to double check our charges and making sure that the compound overall has a neutral charge, potassium is a +1, iodate is a -1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So far, I think what we're seeing is that we do not use parentheses when there is only one polyatomic ion. When there's only one polyatomic in the compound. We should see something different in these examples. So now we have calcium, which has a +2, and hydroxide, which has a -1. So if you play that trick I showed you where the superscript becomes the subscript, you would end up having 1 calcium and 2 hydroxides. And because there are 2 hydroxides, you need the parentheses. And let's just double check our charges to make sure that we have a neutral compound overall. The calcium is a +2 and the hydroxide is a -1, but you have 2 of them, so 2 minus 2 equals 0. Let's do this one. We're combining magnesium, which has a +2, and iodate, which has a -1. Again, if you play that trick I showed you, where the superscript becomes the subscript, you would have 1 magnesium and 2 iodates. So this would be the correct answer. Let's double check our charges to make sure that our compound is neutral overall. Magnesium is a +2, iodate is a -1, but you've got 2 of them, so that's a -2. That adds up to 0. So it looks like we use parentheses when there is more than one polyatomic in the compound. So again, if there's only one polyatomic, no parentheses. If there's more than one polyatomic, use parentheses. Hope that helped, and thanks for listening.